Even after 11 years of GTA 5, there's still new things that I learn every single day. The developers paid so much attention to detail, so here's even more tiny details that you might not have noticed even if you've played this game for 11 years. There aren't many enterable interiors in GTA 5, which is a big criticism of the game, but any buildings that you can go into are extremely detailed. Let's look at the Slaughterhouse, for example. Different boxes of meat have different gradings, so depending on how good the quality of the meat is. And you can also see the exact restaurant on the map that will be shipped to. This grade E fast food quality food is going to Burger Shot, whereas the grade B supermarket quality food is going to Cafe Redemption. Which, by the way, little Easter egg to Red Dead Redemption there. The grade C meat will go to Grain of Truth, and you can find all of these buildings on the map as well. Let's not beat around the bush with this next one. GTA 5's Los Santos is based on LA, and LA sadly does have a large homeless population. And Rockstar took their time at really animating all of these homeless people and making them seem realistic. For example, this homeless guy next to one of the auto shops is sleeping in an abandoned little shop area here. If you go in there and walk around him, you can actually wake him up and then he'll start to shoo you away.
Look, I don't need my wife gyrating for the whole world to see. Fine. I guess I'll go bowling or something. Bye.
If you're taking a drink from a vending machine to heal your health, both NPC police as well as other players can actually shoot the can out of your hand, which will stop you from healing.
No way!
These two statues outside of Fort Zancudo are actually very interesting. This left statue is apparently here to celebrate all of the soldiers who unwillingly gave their lives away in the 1974 War of San Andreas. But if you go to the wall that actually has all of the names of the dead soldiers on it, every single one of their names, all 1,152 of them, are named John Doe. Rest in peace to John Doe, he died a lot. The ride statue is interesting as well. It says, in memoriam, 420 missions, 12,568 sorties, 1,625 killed, 102 lasers lost. But what I find most interesting about this is these 3 laser jets on the statue here. This is actually the beta model for the laser jet in GTA 5. It looks different in the final game. So this is kind of a cool way to use a beta asset. I think it's neat. If a car sets on fire in the city, the fire will last longer. This is so that the fire truck can actually get there in time and you can see the firemen put out the fire. If a fire happens outside of the city though, it'll go out on its own a lot quicker. If you run over a fire hydrant, of course water is going to spew out, but you might not have noticed that if you listen very closely, you can actually hear the water falling onto the roof of your car. The derelict motel out in Sandy Shores is actually an exact replica of the North Shore Motel in California. The real motel was demolished in 2008 though, before GTA 5 even came out, but in a weird way it kind of lives on through the game. If you head out to the Rebel radio building at night, there's a chance that you can hear Morse code coming from the tower. One of them translates to a simple SOS message, and there's another one that can be a message from the altruist cult. The message says, ban clothes, ban lies, ban youth, ban deceit, eat of the flesh, drink of the blood, we shall be free once more because we know altruism. The greatest good for the greatest generation, we shall boom again. The crash barriers that you can find on the highway have a pretty impressive animation for a game that's 11 years old, but that's not what I want to mention. What's interesting is these actually work. If you run into them at full speed, they actually help you to not lose health. Here's a comparison of running into one of these versus just a pole. I don't know how I'm only noticing this one now, and maybe this is why the NPCs are so bad at driving in the game, but there are no arrow turning traffic lights in any of the traffic lights in the game. It's just red, amber, or yellow, and green. No turn signals at all. You can actually break the vending machines around the map, and if you break them, they won't work, of course. Seems simple and kind of obvious, but a lot of games wouldn't do this, seeing as they're an interactable object. If you break it, you can't use it. Changing your shoes does actually change the sound that you make when you walk and run.
Rather you than me.
When it starts to rain, the NPCs that are out and about walking will actually react to this and seem visibly distressed that it started to rain. They'll start to duck, try and shield themselves from the rain, or start to move quicker to try and get out of the rain. After all of the NPCs get to shelter, you'll notice that there's actually a lot less NPCs walking around as well when it's raining. Have you ever wondered why there's this rough, bumpy texture, but it's only on the highways? Well, this is actually a thing in real life, and it's actually meant to wake the driver up if they fell asleep and started to drift out of their lane while they're driving. When you understand that, it's kind of understandable why it's only on the highways. It's not only the human NPCs that get scared when gunshots are nearby. If you look closely, you also see all of the other animals like cats, dogs, any other animal really, start to run away and get scared when they think their life is in danger. Near the logging factory in Paleto Forest, you can drive into a pile of logs and knock them around. After that, once they're on the ground, you can actually push them wherever you want. So I want to see if someone can get one of these logs all the way down to the airport. If you do it, tag me on Twitter at TGGOnYT and I'll give you a heart. lot of people have criticized GTA 5's driving physics, but in a lot of ways, it's really realistic. For example, hydroplaning is in the game. On dry roads, you can swerve and still control your car reasonably well. But when the roads are wet and you can visibly see puddles everywhere, if you try and swerve, it's gonna be really hard to control your car, and you're almost always gonna spin out. You may have noticed that the waypoint to your destination always disappears when you go in a tunnel or underground. You also may have thought that this was just a bug. But no, Rockstar did this on purpose. It's meant to be telling you that your GPS is going out and you're losing signal because you're underground. Not all random objects on the ground are just there for looks. Most game developers would let you drive through pretty much any tiny object on the ground, but not Rockstar Games. A lot of these tiny objects that have just been left behind by civilians, like gas cans, bricks, these types of things, a lot of these are actually interactable. Whenever you drive over them, you'll see a visible bump, and if you go over them too fast, you can even spin out. If the pilot deems it safe to do so, helicopters will actually land and let the troops jump out directly onto the ground instead of rappelling down.